Hi, I'm Sarah Pulaski, and this is my final video for GHS 204. Yay! Sad though, I've really enjoyed this course, and I feel like I've really learned a lot, and I think this is definitely an education that I will carry with me and remember, especially as I'm moving through the rest of my political science degree, so I really appreciate this class. I have been totally transformed in my understanding of Latin America from the indigenous cultures to my understanding of immigration and Latin America today. So starting off, I think that I had previously fallen victim to the misrepresentation of indigenous cultures in Latin America. Um, I was given the education previously of like the whole like they did human sacrifices and they were primitive and so on and so on. When in reality, these indigenous cultures were incredibly advanced and they had incredible religions and technologies and architecture beyond what I could ever do in my lifetime. And so I think that the project that we did over like the misrepresentation of I think it was the Mayans in that one documentary, that was just it really opened my eyes. I think I definitely now know to question everything, obviously, and just don't fall victim to that just total misrepresentation. Um, I also learned a lot about the European impact on Latin America that I previously had not known. Obviously, I knew that it was bad, the encounter was bad, the diseases that the Europeans brought with them were bad, colonization and imperialism is obviously bad. However, just the full impacts and how it really went down isn't something that I had known before, and so I definitely have a better understanding of that now. And so, like, one thing that stuck out to me was I didn't know that they like brought like Africans over to be like in Latin America as slaves. That's something I didn't know, and I also didn't know the full extent of like the enslavement of Latin Americans either. And so these were things that were new to me. I had not known that before at all. And then just the social impacts in general from the Europeans, things like I was familiar with like the caste system that had been introduced from the racism, especially with like mixed race. Oh my gosh, mixed race people. But something that was kind of new to me was how the patriarchy had been introduced. I hadn't known that it was like that intense of a social change, just with those gender roles that were newly introduced, and then also hegemony. I always say it wrong the first time. Hegemony. I am so sorry. Hegemony in general. That was just totally new to me. How like these European ideas became what was considered normal and like necessary in Latin America, and how like they spread. That was all really interesting and new to me. And then thinking about the independence movements, I hadn't known the full extent of like the influence of like the European and American like independence movements, especially with like the French Revolution and like the liberal ideas from that. I had no idea how big of an impact that had on the Latin American independence movements. I hadn't known how like they like learned from like what they were doing and like with like the self governance and stuff. I had no idea that that was connected at all. And then another thing that like totally amazed me was how the Napoleonic Wars were connected too. I'm just like how global the world is something that always shocks me. And I think that that really impacted me because it was a good reminder that um, Latin America is just so connected. Latin America is a contact zone that is so uniquely but intensely connected with all of these other countries and continents, and that is just something that I just never considered before. And so something I guess like to kind of wrap this up that I'm just gonna carry with me is just like my anger and like the emotions that I have felt as I've learned all of this information. Um, just I remember feeling so angry watching that documentary about the women working in the factories in Latin America that were being exposed to like lead and all these horrible toxins and horrible working conditions and not being able to like they could barely afford water. Like that made me so mad and sad, and it's like how am I supposed to do anything about that? But being educated on this and being able to spread that knowledge to other people and understanding it and maybe hopefully making a difference in my lifetime one day, I don't know, but just being able to carry that feeling of anger, being able to maintain that passion because obviously people deserve rights and deserve to live good, healthy lives. I think that's something that is really going to stick with me after this course. I really appreciate Dr. Gabiola, your encouragement throughout this whole endeavor. Obviously, summer classes aren't anyone's favorite things, but I've honestly really enjoyed this experience. I've appreciated your feedback on all the assignments. It always makes me smile to see just how excited you are. Your passion is really evident throughout this course, and so I really appreciated that. And yeah, uh, thank you for this. I've honestly never enjoyed doing readings for a class as much as I've enjoyed doing these ones, and thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is a really valuable education. I'm really grateful for it.